right now to Mayor Olivia Chow. She's speaking at a housing complex. Let's listen in.
One of the tenants and learned that Tyler had been couch surfing, never really had a home since 16 because he's a foster child. And the look in his eyes to say, oh, I now finally have my home, a place where I can call home, that I can pull my life together, that I can get the mental health support that I need, that I can now go back to school and be the nurse, which I always dreamed to be. To sense that hope and joy that is in his voice, of anticipation, what he can do with his life, is just magical. And we need to do a lot more. This is a small but mighty example of what partnership between private sector and the city government and an agency like NAMI Res that has many years, decades of experience of building, running affordable housing and many other amazing programs for the Indigenous community. This site was a beautiful Victoria homes, and in 2019, I believe, Mott Development was a building at 55 Chow Street East, yeah? And through Section 37, they promised to assist the city in rebuilding, renovating a place. And this was what we found. And we were seeking for partners. And that is, NAMI Res stepped up and said, yes, we'll do it. So here we are. It's a really wonderful partnership that you're seeing the opening of this beautiful place. And I often think of bald eagle when I watch them. They soar in the sky. And they look down and then occasionally drop a feather to give us direction. And yes, it always lifts up our spirit. So this small but mighty affordable housing lift up all our spirit because this is truly affordable. It's a third of the residents' income, not 80% market. We've changed the affordability criteria, that affordable is not market-based, it's based on the person's income. So let me turn this over back to Steve. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for your kind words, Mayor Chow.
Well, we've been listening to Mayor Olivia Chow speaking at the NAMI Res housing complex. We'll have more on that announcement throughout the morning and after. Olivia Chow is taking questions from reporters. Let's listen in.
The City of Toronto are looking at several aspects. One is the prevention piece through the wet water flow master plan. It's putting $4.3 billion capital project over 10 years to separate the stormwater and the sewage, separated so they don't all run all over the place, including into the lake. So there are tunnels, there are different work. That's the system piece. On that system piece, also working to implement the environmental studies that have been done in the York Southwestern area. There have been several studies. The last one finished in 2022, and there's a whole list of recommendations it needs to get done. So we are pledging, committed to making it happen, starting now. The third piece of it is, so over the entire area, specifically in the York South area, and then the third piece are what can we do to have less stormwater runoff like in this kind of porous area, especially in big parking lot, it becomes a parking lake when a huge storm comes. And what can we do to have the pave area to be more porous so the ground can absorb more water, then less water will run off and therefore able to prevent some of the flooding that took place. So but immediately for homeowners, there's a grant, about $7,000 that we can provide. There are also subsidies for people to have sub pumps and any number of, right now existing, all of those things that could help somewhat and that's on the City of Toronto's website to help prevent flooding.
A lot of the work that you're talking about has been done specific to the Rockcliffe Smythe area up until this point.
Yes.
And yet they still wait, and yet they're still flooded. What can you tell us about the timeline and how specific can you be about the work actually being done in that neighborhood?
For that area, you're absolutely right. There has been several studies, and the last one finished at 2022, and then it came to the city, and still there hasn't been that much being done. The environmental assessment was very comprehensive. It outlined about $300 million, like over a period of time, several phases. The first phase is ready to happen now in 2024. And I'm committed, and City Council is committed to go forward. The part of the funding is also the federal government. The federal government is hopefully will join with us, and there's been negotiation as to what they can contribute, because that's a huge amount of money. And we are hoping that they will join with us quite soon, hopefully before the end of August.
So you're saying that first phase that is ready to go right now?
It's ready to go.
Been ready before this flood even started, is contingent upon the federal government?
Not totally. There are things that the design and all of that work can happen because there are several phases of it. The houses, the over 1,000+ houses, were built after the Black Creek was diverted, and the Lavender Creek was also diverted. They built on it. So that's why that area is the most vulnerable area in the entire city. And every time there's a big storm, it floods. It's been 3 times in the last, 15 years. And that's very difficult for them to manage.
Can I jump in with one more follow-up, if you don't mind? In the past, decades ago, there was a situation along Black Creek where the city actually stepped in.
That's right, in the 60s. Mm-hmm.
Is this something that the city would ever consider again? Purchasing these properties from these people and saying, we'll take care of it?
No, I think what we need to do is follow the environmental study that cost a lot of money and took a year plus. There were a lot of consultation done throughout the whole process. I, in fact, read, you wouldn't believe it, 400 pages. I skimmed through it, the report, because I want to know what was the past. And there was a study in the 90s and early 2000, but what happened was that the result of the recommendation, the expert looked at it and said, because the storms are so much worse now, that even if we do all that, it will still flood, which is why the city at the time said, let's do a comprehensive one. They did it. It's ready. The report came out in 2022. We are now all hands on deck ready. The master plan was approved at City Council in May 2023, just before I came in. I pulled it back out and look at it and say, okay, this is $4.3 billion immediate across the city, but let's just focus on that area that is most vulnerable. Let's focus on that. Councillor Nunziata has been working hard to make it happen.